Okay, let's go up the trail that goes to the castle. And then a few words about this area. Like I said, these are often vortexes of energy. And from that castle, several times I took pictures of UFOs, both with a normal camera and with the infrared system. So for me, since the beginning, when I discovered this castle of the Cathars with that wonderful energy of those Gnostic people, I felt there was a connection between Cathars and UFOs. I will speak more about this in my series on the Cathars, because for me it goes all together. Same frequency, same subject, same area of research, etc. Since I'm talking about space borders and their spaceships, UFOs, I want to give a little point that I forgot in the series timeline. So the point is, the space borders did also help, along with the Gnostics and all of us on the ground, in order to try to bring the real timeline in full manifestation. Alright? So what they did in the 50s mostly, because at the time there were huge waves of UFO sightings, with scout ship coming very close to the ground all over the planet. In France, only in the year 1954 there were 1 million of observations of UFOs in only 1 year. But beside other aspects of working on the consciousness of people, there was one point that was told to us by the space borders. During that time, mid-50s, each of these scout ships and mother ships as well were sending little disc, small disc, the size of a steering wheel of a car. They were automated, and they would come into the ground and bury themselves like those animals living in tunnels, you know. So each disc will embed itself into the ground and stay there. They are still in there, and the disc will emit frequencies, rays, if you want to call them rays, in a radius of, say, roughly 20 miles or so. Rays to awake spiritually the people in that radius. And there would be a disc each 20 miles. There's a circle like that, overlapping. And this all over the planet Earth. Everywhere, every 20 miles, you have a disc buried in the ground from the space borders, sending out spiritual energies so that people would awaken. So there's no mystery then. That started 60s, 70s, spiritual awakening took momentum and end up with the big blossoming of the New Age. So it was an attempt from the force of light to counteract the manipulation of the New Age done by these dark priests. Now we are climbing the porch of the fortress and hear the story shortly. The first time I went to visit the Cmdr castle, I went into all of them, and when coming to this one, I recognized immediately that system of fortifications, that special trail with fortification at each step. And I told myself, I know this place, I've been there, I used to live here, there was a past life at the time of the Cathars, and I had all the information on this, that I was indeed with the forces of light that were fighting here to defend the Cathars. So basically I discovered that, sorry, okay, maybe we do better this way, okay, maybe. So I discovered that I was defending the Cathars, so I was a kind of soldier, knight of first level or something, fighting with the chief of defense of this castle here. He was nicknamed the Lions of Combats, Lions, the Lion of the Battles. Chabert de Berbera was the name. So that's a story that I will go further into it in my series with the Cathars. So the point is, I've been there before. So this is why I call this my castle. I was not owning the castle, no, I was just a defender of this fortress. And it happens that from there I took pictures of UFOs all over this incredible scenery. So same way, many of these pictures were lost, that is, stolen by the forces of repression, very similar to the repression from the Satanic Church, again initiates Brotherhood of Light called the Cathars. It's a bit cloudy today, so we don't see much. The big mountain which is back there in the background, huge mountains, over 6,000 feet, 7,000 feet, called Canigou. And this is a sacred mountains all over the eastern side of the Pyrenees. As a matter of fact, Canigou there is the main, biggest base for the fleet of Ashtar and the forces of light. And that from there, ships are going all over the place, including to that Bugarash place, so popular. I'm not crazy about Bugarash. The second mountain, that's Canigou, and all these mountains here that follows all the way to the fifth dimensional pocket. Bugarash is another story. Maybe I will tell about one day. But I don't find most interesting anything that happened there. I've been there, I checked everything, so my interest is more in these much higher frequency places. And besides, since we are in the Cmdr place here, Bugarash was not, repeat, not the sacred mountain of the Cathars. Again, this is a fake New Age information that was born someplace, that supposedly the Cathars, when they will be put into the fire, these big pyres, they would demand to have the head turn in the direction of the Bugarash. This is fake information, it's impossible, because the Cathars were not burned that way. They didn't have the time, and the force of darkness did not take the time to tie them to a pole with the head looking to the Bugarash, certainly not. They were just thrown like that over a palisade in huge pile of fire burning material. So this information is incorrect. Another of the many New Age inversion of facts and disinformation. So we keep climbing into the series of fortifications, which usually were called Barbican in the Middle Ages. So I recognized that Barbican when I visited first here. Now today we are not going into the castle. I would reserve this for another time, because it's a whole procedure and protocol. You don't access, you don't enter a sacred place like this like a tourist visiting the pyramids. No. You have to have a spiritual energy protocol, and you have to ask the permission to the guardian of the place. So in that future video I will show a picture that was taken by a friend of the door entrance to the castle, and nearby me you see a monk with a hood. He was a Cmdr monk, guardian of the place. But that story will be when we go into the castle. Today we stay at the portal, I would say. All right. You can feel the frequency all by yourself. You don't even need to be here. Although coming here is a whole experience by itself.
The Lord